speech is actually entitled Remove or Release. That is going to be the name of the speech today. How many people have taken a plane before?
Taking what?
Taken a flight. Have you ever taken an airplane flight before?
Yes.
If you've taken an airplane flight before, you know when you board that flight, you're pretty much out of control as to whether you're going to make it to your destination safely or not. Right? Pretty much out of control. You have no idea. So you can imagine in January of 2009 when that U.S. Airways flight took off from New York City. And only 3 minutes into the flight, as the plane was ascending, the pilot hit what is called a bird strike. And geese flew into both sides of the plane. And you can imagine the stress that this pilot was under when he realized that the plane had no power. No power. And he was courageous enough to make a decision to land the plane right there in the Hudson, not only to save his life, but the passengers, I think it was like 155 passengers on board that plane that day, their lives were saved. So you can imagine the amount of stress that not only the passengers, but this pilot was under when this event took place. So he must have been prepared. He must have been prepared to manage stress effectively. When a man or a woman joins the military, they have to go through what is called boot camp. And boot camp prepares them in case they go into combat and they have to deal with stress. So again, it kind of goes back to you must be prepared. Because if you're not prepared, unfortunately all of us are guilty of this, we can make decisions that affect not only our health, but also the people around us. You ever go to a grocery store, you're feeling good, you have your grocery list, you get your veggies, your milk, your eggs, you walk out feeling good. You've got the list, healthy food, you're good. But you take that same scenario when you're stressed, and you noticed in your grocery cart you add some Twinkies, some ice cream, some cookies. Sometimes we can try to manage stress by overeating or undereating, and that's not good for our bodies. Or sometimes when we're stressed, we call our friends. Now, friends are good to call when you have stress, but sometimes we call friends that might not be so good for us. You know the friends. Mr. and Mrs. Patron, Dr. Jack Daniels, Mr. Heineken, right? Those are not good for our bodies as well. So it's very, very important that we manage how we're comforting ourselves when it comes to dealing with stress. When the economy is good, the economy is booming, people have jobs. You might come home from work, a person might kiss their spouse, kiss their children. But now when we're in a recession, a person might come from work and hit their spouse or hit their children. In a recession, domestic violence goes up 3 times fold. So it's very, very important that we all learn to manage stress and manage it effectively. So I have some ideas on how we all could do that. Idea number 1 is what you could do is write what is called a stress journal. You buy a notebook, you buy a journal from any store, and every time a stressful event occurs, you simply write it down. And you can record these events over a couple of days, a couple of weeks, but simply write them down. Once some time has passed, step number 2 would be to open up your stress journal and actually analyze where is this stress originating from. Once you understand where the stress is originating from, then you're empowered. You're empowered to make a decision. You're empowered to make a decision to decide how to solve these issues or these stressful situations that might be occurring. And I call it the method of deciding to remove or release the stress. Just remove or release it. For example, one time I had a roommate. This roommate was messy, loud, brought people into the home that I was not fans of, and it was really, really stressing me out. I had to make a decision. Should I stay in this situation that was stressing me out 3 or 4 times a week? Or do I remove myself from this situation? So I can decide to release it and just let this roommate be and learn to deal or cope, or simply just remove myself from that situation. And I decided to remove myself from that situation. Another scenario could be you're in a traffic jam. You have no control if you bump into a traffic jam. We have no control over that. However, you'd be surprised, we've all heard of road rage, how many people don't have control over managing their stress in a traffic jam. So you have to decide, remove or release. Well, you can't control that, so release it. Listen to some music. Calm yourself. Once you learn and adapt to the method of removing or releasing stress, it's a gratifying experience. Remove or release so that you can enjoy life more. Remove or release so that you can adapt to situations more effectively. Remove or release so that you can feel peace in your life without the negativity affecting those around you and also yourself. When you learn to remove or release, when you learn to look clearly at your problems and organize them, you may learn how to attack them one problem at a time instead of all at once. Fellow Toastmasters.